Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, I say good morning because it is a Saturday morning when we're out here again in South Northamptonshire on our way to Pure Triumph in Wellingborough to go and test ride the Rocket 3. Now, I'm going to waffle on now in the background all about my previous experience of a Rocket 3 back in 2011 when I think it was possibly the second generation, not quite sure. But anyway, latest one. Don't know whether I'm going to be on the GT, don't know whether I'm going to be on the R, but at the moment I'm on that, and that means we're going that way to Pure Triumph. Here we go then. Here we go. I've pulled over in on the outskirts of a little village called Beaujeu, which is down there somewhere, and it's raining. So I just got myself to a place where I thought, well, I'm going to change it out of rain mode and put it into something a little bit more grunty to have a bit of better experience on it. And then the rain came down again, right about where I am. So it's a bit of a funny day today, so you'll have to forgive it. They're not always bright and sunny. So this is the Rocket R version, the Rocket 3 R. And the differences on this, I'm told, are that it doesn't have the little bar for the passenger, as the GT version do. The pegs on this one are slightly further back to make it more comfortable. I have to say, they do still feel slightly forward. So, and I think you can get adjuster kits for both bikes to bring back or forward. Here comes the rain. But I will suffer. Brembo brakes on both front and rear, as I've said on the voiceover. TFT display, oh, heavy rain now. TFT display is the Gen 2, which I'm said is the same size as a Scrambler, which I think I've already said on part of the video whilst I was riding. A couple of little bits and pieces that let me down. This I thought is a bit plasticky. It's just kind of clipped on, and it was very, very loose when I touched it earlier. This is plastic. Do I want it to be metal? No, plastic is absolutely fine, but the finish needs sorting out. And there's no real reason why the finish couldn't actually be painted, apart from obviously price. Right, okay. You get the point I'm trying to make. Now, I would have said when I first looked at this bike, and the first review I was going to say is really, really well put together. Wow, that rain is coming down now. But I'm not sure when I hear things like that. And I'm not sure when I see that. It's a 20 grand bike. This is nice. Oh, still tappy. The exhausts, I love them. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Whoever at the factory designed those, well done, mate. Cracking, looks brilliant. Engine, beautiful, 2.5 litre, lovely. Tank looks beautiful, seat looks beautiful. These little peggy extensions that come out that everybody raves about, absolutely fantastic. Takes away the ugliness of the little passenger pegs that not many people want. Rear single-sided swing arm, and that wheel is very, very well designed. The TFC version of this bike is gorgeous, so well designed and cut out, but I still think there's things with that bike that they probably could have engineered into the standard version. They could have done. But riding it, it's a little bit weird to start off with, I have to say. It does feel a little bit strange when you first get on it, but of course it will. You've got to get that muscle memory. A few other bits and pieces that I am not keen on. I'm not keen on this, with that screwy thing underneath there. Just don't think it looks right. I think they could have done something a little bit better than that. It just looks a little bit cheap. But there you go, something to learn. Not quite sure it would have cost much more money to make that a lot nicer. And of course, come on Triumph, if you're going to do keyless ignition and a keyless bike, do a keyless fuel tank, please. Just, you know, get with the times, peeps. Right, that's not to say whoever's put this bike together, you've done a really good job, okay? Not that you care about what I've got to say. You have done a really good job. It does look nice, but there's a few little bits and pieces that if I was the CEO and you were showing me around a new developed bike, I'd be going, come on boys, you know, can we get these few little bits and pieces sorted out? Now, I'm not sure whether you would need to like smash the budget on accessories on this bike, or whether how it comes is, well, just how it comes. Is it satisfying enough? or could you play with it and do all sorts of things? Now, I mentioned the exhaust from the other side. The exhausts that come out, I'll have another quick look at them. They're beautiful, absolutely fantastic, and I've got a feeling that they are going to stand the test of time, because these must be covers over the top of the axle exhaust so you don't see the bluing, and these two that come out of this side, and the sneaky little one that comes out of this side, cracking, absolutely brilliant. And it's that I love. I think I could live with it. But say just a few little bits and pieces that kind of like are letting the bike down, and that, you know, aesthetically, and that's that. And as I've said before, I'm not massively keen on this TFT, but I'm going to have a quick look at it. Let's fire it up. This is the Gen 2 now. Whoever's got these are going to love them. The Gen 1 that came with the Triumph Tiger, the 2018 model, I really didn't like. But for this particular one, I think it's quite pretty, actually. Rocket 3, good morning, rider. I'm rider today, not dude. And then what comes up is a bunch of information. The RPMs on these ones, by the way, go to around about 6,250 RPM by looking at that. You've got your speed around here, you've got your fuel tank up there, and then you've got your gears just here. What appears here, apparently, I don't really know. Oh, there's some more information. So you've got your mileage. This one's done 1,718 miles, and it is on, again, a 69 plate. So I don't think it's fared too badly. Rear light's really pretty. I think it's very well designed rear light on it. And let's just have a quick look at the fronts. And the fronts are all lovely LEDs, which is great, because I think they throw out the light. Right, horn. Oh dear, very weak and lonely out there. It's not really going to wake anybody up. It doesn't really define the size of the bike. So this TFT, I did say I was going to get into it, so let's have a little bit of a play, and apologies if this bit bores you. Skip on a little bit, but let's just have a quick look. So what can we do? We can change what's in that right hand display. Exactly what it's showing me, I don't know. Oh, so I think you can do this, the type of display that you're seeing, whether it be dark or whether it be yeah, that's good. Oh, so in this one, that is good. You can define what the display is. So I'm guessing that in the daytime, if you did want a dark display, then you can have a dark display rather than it coming on full bright like in some of the others. So that's interesting. What else have we got here? 1, 2, what's that? Ah, Chronos or Quartz. So that's the Quartz and that's the Chronos. Oh, very nice. Very nice. And then I think there might be designs of that one too. Very good. Morning. Yeah. And then in the right hand side as well, as you're looking at, you've got a timer, you've got your miles per hour, and then you've got, what's that one up there? Oh, that's probably the miles ridden already. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. I'm sure there's much to it. So you've got trip 1 and trip 2. I'm boring myself now. What happens if I press the home button? Oh, home button gives me the menus that sit in there. I've got bike setup, trip setup, display setup, and resets to defaults. Riding modes, obviously, you can do whilst you're on the fly. So bike setups, what does that give me? Heel hold control, indicators automatic on and off, traction control, and resetting service modes, I suppose. What does the service mode? Or it just tells me when my next service is and gives me the option to reset it, which is good. Thanks, Triumph. That's nice. If I wanted to service myself, which I don't. Let's just press that mode again. Yeah, not as bad. Not as bad as I make out, actually, to be fair. Let's just have a look at those other displays. So we press the home mode, get back to display settings, display setup, brightness, high contrast, visible trays, gear shift indicator, rider name you can change, the language, the units, the clock, the date, and the theme. That's the interesting bit. Let's have a look at the theme. So you've got theme 1 or theme 2, and that's it. Theme 1 or theme 2. I've said before in some of the videos that I've done that I do believe that manufacturers should start to think about how these things can be programmed by the user. So it's all about software download now, folks. So if you're a manufacturer out there, take a leaf out of Tesla's book and give people the option to download new software whenever it comes out, and don't leave it to having to go into the dealership, or even in the terms of BMW, having to spend an overnight at the dealership plugged into a computer so it can download the latest software. We need to be able to do it at home now, whether that's downloading your software to a USB stick and then plugging it somewhere into the bike and updating it, or doing it via Wi-Fi or whatever. It needs to be done by us, and we need the option in some of these TFTs, if you're going to bring them out, for us to be able to determine what it is that we want on screen and to work it all out for ourselves. So give us the option, please. Triumph, BMW, whoever, if you're listening, if you're watching, I don't know. Right, here we go then. I've had me bitch and me moan, and I've got my helmet back on now, and I'm going to get my gloves on, and we're going to go and see what it's all about. I don't know how long actually I've got the bike for, but I don't think they'll mind. I'm not sure it'll be booked out for much more today, but appreciate obviously Pure Triumph for letting me borrow it, considering they know that I'm looking for something to actually go in the garage to complement everything else that's in there. Who knows? Who knows? Shut up, Apple Watch. Hello, thanks for stopping by and thanks for watching. Right, I'm excited because I'm going for another test ride, and it's another Triumph. Now, this one's been out for a while. It's a Rocket 3. There was a TFC that hit my inbox a few months ago, well, quite a few months ago. And the reason why I haven't got excited about this bike is because I had one in 2011 for around about 18 months. It is a gas guzzler. It was the 2.3 version, and whilst it was a great bike, it was my first introduction to, well, what is this bike really? Kind of like sits on its own somewhere. It's neither a classic or an adventure or a sports. It's just, if you go on Triumph's website, it's the Rocket, and that's how that's how they describe it really. So anyway, I've had a quick look at their website. It's telling me that the prices are, oh, by the way, to save you doing it, the prices are starting from £19,500, which is it's a sizable lump of money to come out of your pocket. So they do the Rocket 3R, which is the kind of muscle roadster. It is talked about, it is talked about as the torque that comes out of it, and then the Rocket 3 GT. Now the Rocket 3 GT is slightly forward on the pegs, and the Rocket 3R is more of the sort of everyday model, I suppose. GT, touring, R, racing, I suppose so. Anyway, don't get bored, not yet, stay with me just for a minute or two. So the Rocket 3R is the £19,500 model. It's got a 2.5 litre engine at the moment. That's 167 PS of peak power, 221 enormous Newton meters of peak torque, and apparently it is 40 kilograms lighter than the previous Rocket series, which is, well, I hope you can tell because it was bloody heavy. But anyway, there we go. Single twin LED headlight, so it's nice. It looked quite pretty at the front end. Again, we're utilising and coming to that second generation LCD screen. Don't like it, not sure. Would it put me off buying the bike? Possibly not, but I'm yet to ride it. Of which I'm probably doing now as you're watching. So the Rocket 3, incredible acceleration and torque. Yeah, I don't think you can take any of that away from it. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know whether I can afford the £19,500 for it, but it's just such a unique bike. I suppose the other one is the Ducati. I am not going to try and pronounce what the Ducati name is, but there we go. Right, looking into the specifications of the R, or the models. So the specs are, as I said, 2.5. So the bore is 110.2 millimeters. That's some massive pistons really. Stroke of 85.9 millimeters. Has a compression of 10.8 to 1. 167 PS, as we said. 165 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPM. The massive torque, 221 newton meters. God, it's incredible. Ride-by-wire fuel injected, stainless 3-into-1 headers with 3 exit silencers. They'll be interesting. I'll do a little bit of video about those. So I think there's a sneaky one on the other side, so we'll have a look at that. Shaft driven, obviously, wet multi-plate hydraulically operated torque assist clutch. Very nice. 6-speed. I don't know whether my 2011 only had 5. I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go back and find out. Front tyres are massive. 150 by 80 R17, and the rear one an even more massive 240 by 240 50 R16. Front suspension, some showers, 47mm upside downs, and the rear is a fully adjustable shower, piggyback reservoir, blah 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 blah. Lots of information in that. Right. Front brakes, Brembos. Back brakes, Brembos. Right, so the front are dual 320mm discs, and the back is a single 300mm disc. Rears, nothing to shout about, I wouldn't have thought. The fronts are the M4 pistons, 4-piston radial monoblock calipers with cornering ABS, both this one and the rear one is a 4-piston monoblock caliper too, the M432. Very interesting. The TFT, as I said, is that second generation. I think it's the one that came with the one that you've seen if you've watched my videos on the Scrambler. They ain't brilliant. There's only one TFT out there at the moment that I like, and that's the one that sits on the BMW GS, and I think that needs some work too. Quite a lot of work, in fact. Right, the tank is 4.82 litre fuel consumption, 18 litre tank, does about 41.45 miles per gallon. Now, I think that's probably closer to about 30 in the real world. It's a Euro 5 engine. Just letting you know that the Rocket 3, by the way, the GT version starts from 20,200. So if I just have a quick configure of the GT version rather than the R version, we can have basically a couple of colours to come from: the Phantom Black and Storm Ice Silver. The accessories comes with 40 accessories you can get for it. Obviously I would imagine that's more for the R. 40 accessories in total, and yeah, you can dress for it too, obviously. Nice bike, I think. I don't know, do I want one? Do I need one? What's going in my garage? I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, back to the boy riding the bike. I do not want to pull up this front wheel. Right, I am in 4th gear and I'm in sport mode and it's raining. What could go wrong? Let's just have a little pull of the throttle in 4th. Oh right, okay, that'll do. Not in the rain. Not in the rain. My gloves are soaking wet through. Have I achieved what I set out to achieve today? Absolutely not. Do I want to come out and test ride this thing again? Absolutely I do. But I'd like to have a little bit of a long-term play with this. Maybe I should do a review of how dry some of my other gear is, because this ain't nice. Feels like I'm in my ventilated suit. Right, I'm going to back off from these cars just a little bit and allow them to go forward, and then I'm just going to give it a little bit of gentle grunt in sports mode. In fact, what I'll do is I'll overtake these bikes down here. Yeah, I mean, if you want a bike that's going to excite you when you accelerate, this is the bike for you. Absolutely 100%, it is the bike for you. As I say, I'm in sports mode. I'm not going to go mental down here, but I'm just going to take this Mini. Don't mess about, not in any way, shape or form. Let's just get rid of this guy. What am I in? 3rd gear. Let's go into 4th. Yeah, no, I love it. Brilliant. Fantastic engine. Fantastic. Let's just open. Thank heaven for a Brembo. I love the little pops that come out of it too. Nimble. I don't know about nimble. Bloody scary in the wet. I think I want one. It's definitely not a main bike for me, but it's a nice one to have in the garage. Well, there you go, the boy waffles on whilst he's riding home in the pouring rain. And what a day it was, I have to say. You know, if I was going to choose to go out on a bike and test ride at all, then I would have chose the nice weather, but well, it was booked, so why the hell not? So as I said, if you're looking to buy a rocket for the wet, this was the video for you. But if you want something for the dry, then wait till next time, because I think we'll get to go out on it again. Like I said, it's an amazing bike. It's in a class of its own. There's just a few little bits and pieces that let it down, and that's a bit of a shame. But as I said earlier, the TFC version, the one that came out I think for around about 25,000, was an excellent, really well put together bike, and I know that they are now selling second hand for about £3,000 more than they originally came out for. So something worth looking out for. Great bike. A few little bits and pieces I want changing before I have one. Well, the weather might be a good one. But anyway, here we go. Let's leave you with it now. If you like this video, thanks very much. I'm going to do a few more of these now, some wet weather gear and some other bits and pieces. This was generally set up, this channel set up for my trip across Australia to document it from one way to the other. I mean, I should be back by now, but I haven't been able to go because we've had this lockdown situation. So flights are still booked for the 2nd of August. However, I don't believe Australia is actually letting anybody in just yet, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that and find out actually what goes on in the future. If not, it's going to be a 2021 trip, so fingers crossed everything will be all sorted out for then, and I'll just keep buying more kit, more videos and more drones and things like that, and hopefully over there it'll be better weather. Anyway, like I said, if you like this and you're looking forward to the trip, then please subscribe. The subscribing thing and the comments and all that kind of business that YouTube does, apparently that's really important, so I would massively appreciate if you do that. Be very, 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 very good if we can grow the channel a little bit, especially to get the audience before we go and do that trip into Australia, because I'm sure that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. So whatever you got out of it, leave some comments down below and all those kind of bits and pieces, and the channel will get better and better over time, and it'd be good if you can be in there right from the start. So thanks very much. It's just the ride back to Triumph. And my feet are flat to the floor, which you would expect. Little 5'9" man. Oh, when I revved it, the vibration took the TFT realised I've got a bit of white finger going on as well. I'm holding on. Even the angle or whatever on my shoulders, I don't know.